I love what I do. I really do. Especially so when I have an idea of what a story's about, I look deeper into it, and then I realize this is actually a repeat of an earlier case that nobody was paying attention to. I dig even further and realize there is so much more here than anybody realizes. You saw the title. We are talking about the Gayfemboy Malware. That's not some joke. It might be a joke, but I'm not the one making the joke. This is not some hidden way to insult someone. This is the official designation this malware has been given in security advisories. Don't believe me? Here's the Broadcom website. Gayfemboy Malware Campaign, August 26th, 2025. A stealthy malware strain dubbed Gayfemboy has been observed exploiting a range of vulnerabilities to infiltrate systems. Most recent attacks target vulnerabilities in products from vendors such as Draytech, TP-Link, Razecomm, and Cisco. The malware's reach is global, affecting countries including Brazil, France, Germany, Israel, Mexico, the United States, Switzerland, and Vietnam, and is impacting sectors such as construction, manufacturing, technology, and media/communications. Gayfemboy employs sophisticated evasion techniques, they be dodging and weaving, including custom file naming to avoid predictable patterns, obfuscation with modified UPX headers, and self-protection mechanisms. Its core modules include monitoring for anti-analysis and persistence features, a watchdog to ensure single-instance operation, DDoS and backdoor functionalities, and a killer module to eliminate rival malware or enforces self-termination. And over on Fortinet, we have a technical breakdown of the malware, the resurgence of IoT malware inside the Mirai-based Gayfemboy Botnet campaign. Now, the resurgence part is very important. This is not the first time this has happened, and we'll get more to that a little bit later. But instead, first, I want to focus on some highlights from this article. If you want to read the entire thing, I will leave it linked down below. Firstly, we have the string used to trigger the backdoor. It could be something, hidden in plain sight. It could be something kind of encoded where you're not really going to know what it's for. Or it could be meow meow. I am not joking. This is actually what the trigger is to activate the backdoor. Now, being a botnet, you're going to want to have C2 servers, your command and control servers that tell the botnet what you want it to do. As for the DNS servers, they're pretty normal. It uses public DNS servers such as 1.1.1.1, 8.8.8.8, or 8.8.4.4 instead of relying on the system's configured resolver. All of these totally normal DNS servers, you might even be using them yourself. Now, as for the C2 servers, we have crosscompiling.org, which is a subtle joke, but I like it. ikissboys.com, furryfemboys.top, twinkfinder.nl, and lastly, 3gipcam.com. This one seems out of place. But, as for the other ones here, this is why I'm not convinced that this is not a joke, because honestly, what I think is happening here is they wanted to be caught, and they wanted their favorite tech journalist to say things like, I kiss boys, and furry femboys, and twink finder, just so they have sound bites of them saying that. Just imagine for a second that you're in some corporate-y business meeting. You're at one of these companies selling a router that is affected by this problem. How does this meeting go, right? So it's like, okay, tell us about the Gayfemboy. So it is controlled by I Kiss Boys and Furry Femboys. Please explain, what is a femboy? What is a furry? What does it mean to be a gay femboy? Just imagine in your head, guys in suits having this discussion. This is why I wanted to talk about this. Now, with this being called a resurgence, it's pretty obvious this is not the first time this has happened. But it's not like it happened a couple of years ago and everybody forgot about it. It happened this year. It happened in 2025. It happened in January. And nobody talked about it. Nobody knew it was happening. How did nobody make videos and articles about a malware called Gayfemboy? How did this not happen? So here is that first article back in January. And I want to show you a fun highlight from this one as well. To increase analysis difficulty and protect the program, botnet developers often encrypt strings. However, the developer behind this botnet seems to neglect string protection, as all strings are in plain text. After the sample runs, it outputs "we gone now \n", a feature that has remained unchanged since the discovery of the sample. There is no doubt in my mind that this is basically like a black hat shitpost. How is this a thing? But that just takes us back to January and late 2024 when the malware was first being deployed. Let's go back even further. Let's go to the original analysis post again and look at this bit. Gayfemboy employs its first layer of obfuscation during the file download stage. Unlike Mirai and name that I definitely cannot say on YouTube variants, which typically use Linux architecture names as file extensions, Gayfemboy assigns distinct names to each architecture, avoiding predictable naming conventions. But I want to talk about these two, because these two go back so much further. Let's first talk about the one that I cannot say the name of. This one we can directly trace back to 2019. This is another botnet malware and was also targeting routers, notably Huawei and Asus, but it was also targeting a bunch of smaller ones as well that worked in various similar ways. And the reason I mention these together is because of this bit right here. So it's very common for botnet software, botnet malware, to target other botnet software running on that system. If you have a compromised system, it may have some other botnet installed onto it. The problem with that is that means those botnet resources are being sent to another botnet. So if you want your botnet to be the one to thrive and the one to survive, you also need to build anti-botnet measures into your botnet malware. And one of the specific malware listed as being targeted by this version is Mirai, an older version of Mirai. But this is not actually the start of this malware. So this is actually based on an even older malware known as Bashlight from 2014. This has gone by other names like Liz Kebab, which is a great name, Pink Slip, Qbot, Taurus, and my favorite, Lizard Stressor. I love this one. I don't care that it's malware. Lizard Stressor is a great name. So when you have a really compromised system, basically what you're seeing is this sort of fight for supremacy with the software on the system. Always trying to like one-up each other. There's like anti-botnet measures in the botnet, but like not anti their botnet, anti other botnets. So they try to behave like the other botnet so it attacks itself. Just weird malware protection development that goes into creating malware. Now let's talk about the malware that Gayfemboy is directly based on. Mirai. What is Mirai? Well, first off, it is the Japanese word for future and is intended to target Linux embedded devices like IP cameras, home routers, things like that, the same as these other botnets we've been talking about already. But the origin to this one is quite documented. So this was first discovered by White Hat team Malware Must Die in 2016, but it is the author of the malware that I want to talk about. So this was created by someone known as Anna Senpai, and someone known as Krebs on Security did a massive deep dive on this person back in 2017. I mean, a massive deep dive, like knowing every single thing about this person, like full on working out who they are. I cannot show you most of it, but there are some parts that I do want to mention because it's so stupid. Now we know this is the person who made the original version of Mirai because they said they made it. They just straight up admitted it on a forum and explained how they did it. And as their profile picture, they had a picture of Nishikinomiya Anna from Shimoneta. I didn't think I would mention Shimoneta this many times on this channel in 1 year. Somehow it's happened though. Now, the botnet created by the malware was originally made to target Minecraft servers, notably DDoSing Hypixel at the time. So, we were dealing with an actual child, like a literal child here, but someone who had spent their entire childhood working out how to do things. At the time, they were also going by the name OG Richard Stallman on Skype. And this Krebs on Security guy went so far as tracking down this person's My Anime List account, which had a grand total of 9 completed anime. Notably, one of the anime listed was used to link their other accounts together, that being Bigata HK, which is probably something that you've not heard anyone talk about in at least a decade. For everything else this person did, for how smart this person might have been, they had absolutely horrible OPSEC and were posting pictures on their Minecraft Spigot forum account with that same anime. So, and then also using similar names. It was pretty easy for this person to link them together. Just because it's fun, I do want to mention what's on the rest of their list, because, look, they might be a malware developer, but frankly, I think they have pretty good taste. You had the first 2 seasons of Code Geass, Elfen Lied, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Steins Gate, Seitokai Yakuin Domo, Trinity 7, and the most important thing, Future Diary, otherwise known with its Japanese name, Mirai Nikki. Mirai being the name of the malware, so this is most likely where that name came from. Also, the person behind the malware at the time was a student at Rutgers University, and they just so happened to be getting DDoSed as well. And there is no evidence that they were the person who did so. But it's a very interesting coincidence. Very interesting. So, yeah, this was a thing that happened, and somehow, at least when I'm recording this, basically nobody's talked about this. Like, there's some posts on Twitter, but like, I haven't seen any. Maybe there's like one new video, but like nobody who normally talks about malware has covered this. I don't know why. Maybe by the time this comes out, something's going to have changed. But it's such a good title, right? Like, even if the malware itself is just like your run-of-the-mill botnet malware, it's such a good name. How could you not talk about this? Anyway, if you liked the video, go like the video. Go be sure to subscribe as well. And let me know your thoughts down below. If you knew about the malware, I don't know, let me know. Yeah. If you really liked the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe to the Libero Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and just, I don't know what to say.
Like this.